Hi guys, I have this simple but interesting question. I haven't been able to kind of move on from, and it ever since the Peter Stroke reading, not reading, event, right? It seems very clear. How my question is, how can people in the GOP, those very shady Republicans who are out there attacking Peter Stroke, live with themselves? Really, how can they live with themselves knowing what they're doing? That they're basically working for Putin. Okay? Is this a matter of brainwashing? Because I feel like how do they live with themselves? Okay? Can't they, isn't their conscious telling them they're doing something wrong? Simple question. How do they live with themselves under, like, having done this? It's showing, it's saying, so Putin got their self-righteousness. They understood that the anger, they understood. It's showing here the meeting with the Kochs, right? I've read this book, guys, about called Dark Money. It discusses how upset the Kochs were with Obama's victory in the second term. Was it the second term? I don't remember exactly when it started, but the last wave of this, they were desperate. So they concocted this fake narrative about Obama being from somewhere else. They created myths that would justify their anger, and they were ready for anything. So the Russians noticed this, and they they jumped in. So it's like it's showing that they were feeling so high, like they were on a high. They're like, yes, we're right. Obama was wrong, and it's showing here that they have no real. It's all about destroying things, not building anything, right? So what happens is that they were saying here, you need a project, you need something bigger to build and not just destroy. Okay, so how do don't they know they're working for Putin? Isn't it obvious to them? No, they bought into the vision. That's the thing. They bought into what the Russians sold them, which is this idea of the white America and the America of the. It, it sounds hilarious to say what I'm going to say, but they were sold this idea that America could forget about the '60s and become like a. It's showing me here Amish, not like the Amish exactly, but like the women wearing these clothes from like the 1900s or some 1800s, right? Something like that, like where it could be good values, family values. Men go to work, women do the dishes. It's like it's a myth, but they were able to be. They clearly exploited this, and at the same time, they made sure they had all the money they wanted. They understood how to, even their dreams, they understood sort of like, oh, this person has a son who studies, I don't know, who's good at lacrosse. So let's help him with lacrosse. Let's give the kids' schools a donation. You know, those kinds of very, very specific things so they could win them over and make them work for them. So then it's showing, guys, something that I saw somebody on Twitter say this, that I'm going to put a parenthesis to explain this term. So somebody randomly, I think it popped on my feed because I guess people I follow the same person, but he was saying that he was doing research on people who I guess are, on follow QAnon and the far right conspiracy thing. And he explained this term love bomb. He said, oh, it's the love bomb. It's when people start giving people so much praise and saying how great they are and so forth. And by the way, I've noticed people on this channel, it just doesn't seem natural. It's like suddenly somebody comes with flattery that doesn't seem, that it's like there's something fake about it. On my day-to-day life, I'm actually very suspicious of flattery. I don't like it. But there's something about, you can tell that there's a pattern of people suddenly like they're leaving, like never seen the person before, they leave lots of comments. And then there was the one person who did this on YouTube and then went into Patreon and then posted the bullshit, the QAnon whatever bullshit, and I kicked this person out. But what I meant to say was that this is how you did the same thing with the Republicans. They were like, oh, you're so great, you're so great, so great. And then once the Republicans are feel so safe, they have everything they need, they're in the same boat, then the tactic changes and they become abusive. So if it's interesting, if you research this, it's this technique. It's like a brainwashing technique. It's kind of something related to cults, how people are recruited into these cults. First, they identify people who are vulnerable, and they're like, "Oh, you're so great, you're amazing, da da da." And then once the person is in, then they become abusive. They change. So that's kind of what is happening here. Okay, so they are finally realizing that the vision they were told is not exactly how it's going to be. And some of them are like, you know what, actually, I like it better. I preferred when I had less money, but I didn't have to be treated like this, because they're not liking how they're being pushed. And so, sorry guys. And so that's that. That's the story. Okay, so they, like I said, it's like a cult leader. It's like a cult mentality. Obviously, I think showing Paul Ryan. It shows that Paul Ryan knows. Paul Ryan knows that what he did was a crime. What he did was a crime. He doesn't care. But a lot of them have this like, oh, the dream. It's like, I don't know if, well, I can share that with you guys, right? So if you fall in love with someone, I had that when I was younger. Oh my God, but this guy is so great. Oh my God, it's like so beautiful. Everything, the romantic idea, but it's not real. Okay, so it's kind of like this. And so and so so that's that, guys. Okay, so that's why I think I don't, like I said, there's a reason why I don't think they're feeling particularly bad, because they've been their whole life, like the pictures of their lives or their self-image has been totally made to fit with this reality. So it's very hard for them to actually believe otherwise, because that would have to, they thought they were gonna, like I said, they were so close, and they can possibly believe that all this stuff is really gonna happen, okay? Because they really, it's almost like the whole thing, like law of attraction, like, oh, you believe this is real, this is real. They feel like they're wishing the bad on others, right? They're creating all this bullshit about Hillary, all this stuff. It's like, oh, it worked, it worked, it worked. So then they became more and more bold, and they started to believe, no, this is real. We're never gonna be found out. Nothing is gonna come out, and then it did. So I think only after do they. And I think guys really only, I see them, I see lots of them in prison, like literally, going to prison cafeteria and everything. And I feel like they just are in shock that this happened, and they're trying to think back at how how did it happen to them? And then they remember, they're like, oh, it's the Southern strategy. Just what we did to our voters, they did to us. So it's kind of perfect justice, okay? Because they've done what the Russians are doing to, it's like all the lying, the propaganda, the bullshit they started to believe in, they did it to their own voters, okay? So in a way, not to say that, I don't want to also put all the blame in the Russians. No, the Russians would have failed if the GOP wasn't around. Okay, so it you could argue that this whole thing it's not the, obviously it's the fault of the Russians, but it would not have happened if the GOP were patriots. Okay, so like I said, in a way, what the Russia thing, it's shown me at the early on, that what happened was they became very desperate when Obama became president, and they were ready to do anything. They were desperate, and that's why they were like, they accepted it. And like I said, the Russians understood this whole thing about how to get to them. Okay, and so that's that, guys. All right. Okay, I think this is it. This is interesting. I had this question for a long time. All right, bye.